One day, when Eddie went to a party, he saw the most beautiful girl there, Ramona, dancing. Eddie got excited. He couldn't control himself and went up to her and started dancing in a weird way. When Ramona noticed him, she was actually impressed. After that, she took him to a room where she was about to get with him, but Eddie suddenly ran out of energy. Ramona got angry and snapped at him. Actually, Ramona was a 21-year-old woman, the most beautiful and popular girl in her college. Because of her beauty, every guy in college dreamed of being in a relationship with her. One of them was Eddie, who decided one day to propose to her at a party, but he got nervous and couldn't talk to her. Just then, his friend Sonny came over and boosted his confidence. He said, "If you like her, what are you so scared of?" Then he gave him some wine and told him to go dance with Ramona. Hearing this, Eddie felt a surge of confidence. He got up and followed Ramona. He went up to her and started dancing awkwardly. Seeing his innocent behavior, Ramona found him kind of cute and started dancing with him too. Meanwhile, Eddie suddenly needed to use the bathroom, but when he went in, he saw how dirty it was, so he came back out without doing anything. Just then, Ramona showed up at the door. Nervously, Eddie opened it but didn't let her go inside because of how filthy it was. He suggested they go somewhere else. At that moment, another guy rushed in, saw the condition of the bathroom, and called his friends. They all started making fun of Eddie. He got completely embarrassed and later went home with his mom. At home, one of his friends told him about another party happening that evening. Eddie didn't want to go because of what happened earlier, but somehow his friend convinced him. The next evening, he went to another party where Ramona was also present. Eddie's friends knew he liked her, so they kept pushing him to talk to her, but he still didn't have the courage. Meanwhile, Ramona's friends told her that Eddie really liked her and had never been in a relationship before. Hearing this, Ramona said, "Oh really?" and then challenged her friend, saying, "Watch, I'll spend the night with Eddie." After that, Ramona went up to Eddie and started dancing with him. Their dance became quite romantic. While dancing, she asked him to come to a room with her. When they got there, Ramona said, "I know you like me, and you've been waiting for this moment for a long time," and trying to attract him. But Eddie, seeing all this, said, "I don't want to do this with you. There's still plenty of time for that. Before anything like this, I want to spend some meaningful time with you." Hearing this, Ramona got angry. She quickly put her clothes back on and left the room. As she walked out, her friends saw her, and once again, Eddie was made fun of. The next morning, when Eddie shared everything with his friends, they got really upset with him. They said, "You shouldn't have missed that chance. You're such an idiot. You need to be smarter. And before you propose to Ramona, you need to stop Sonny because he's been going after her lately." The next day at college, his friends again told him that he had to somehow keep Sonny away from Ramona. In class, Eddie confronted Sonny and warned him to stay away from her. But Sonny didn't listen, and they started arguing. Just then, Ramona arrived. To get back at Eddie for that night, she accepted Sonny's proposal right in front of him. Eddie felt hurt and tried to stop her, but she didn't listen. Then Eddie revealed what had happened between him and Ramona the previous night. But this time, Ramona called him a liar. Sonny got furious and punched Eddie in anger. Poor Eddie couldn't do anything that day. The next day, Eddie was at home with his mom. She had already found out that he got beaten up at college. Trying to encourage him, she gently asked what had happened. Eddie told her that he was in love with a girl named Ramona and wanted to spend time with her. Hearing this, his mom felt happy. Since Eddie was very shy, she told him that she would talk to Ramona herself. The next day, Eddie went on a summer vacation trip with his mom. They checked into a hotel, and at the reception, Eddie noticed a beautiful girl named Annie. She worked there as a receptionist, and Eddie immediately liked her. Later, Eddie asked the bartender about Annie. The bartender spoke badly about her and warned Eddie to stay away. After that, Eddie went up to Annie and started talking to her in his usual awkward way. Annie found it funny and laughed. For a moment, Eddie thought she was making fun of him like Ramona did, but that wasn't the case. She was actually impressed by his innocence and asked him to go to the beach with her that night. Later, the two were seen walking together on the beach. Eddie asked her about the bartender, and Annie explained that she had rejected his proposal, which is why he spread rumors about her. Then they started talking about their personal lives. Annie mentioned that she already had a boyfriend, but said Eddie seemed innocent, so she just wanted to hang out with him. Then she playfully told him that she would kiss him, but only if he sang a song for her first. Eddie agreed, started singing, and even dancing a little. After that, they kissed. And once they kissed, Annie's mood changed. She took Eddie to her room, and the two ended up getting carried away and enjoying the night together. The next morning, Eddie was fast asleep when his mom came to wake him up. Still half asleep, Eddie thought it was Annie and started talking romantically until his mom snapped at him loudly. Before leaving, Eddie wanted to introduce Annie to his mom, so he took her toward the reception. On the way, he ran into the bartender. Teasing him, Eddie said he had spent the night with Annie. Annoyed, the bartender fired back, saying he had spent the night with Eddie's mom. Hearing this, Eddie went silent and started doubting his mom. When they reached the reception, Annie wasn't there, so Eddie went outside to look for her. He found her, but but she looked upset. When he asked what happened, Annie said that someone had seen him leaving her room, which was against hotel rules. Because of that, she had been fired and had to leave. Eddie asked her not to leave the town, but Annie refused. She said she would go back to her boyfriend. Both of them were sad. They hugged each other and then went their separate ways. Before leaving, Annie said, "Don't be sad. If it's meant to be, we'll meet again." Then she walked away, leaving Eddie heartbroken. On the way back, his mom asked him who he would love now. Eddie said that once he returned to college, he would try talking to Ramona again. While they were on the road, Eddie received a message from Ramona saying that Sonny had hit her and asking where he was, telling him to come quickly. Eddie immediately asked his mom to drive toward Ramona's house. When he got there, he mistakenly thought Ramona's sister was her mom and asked about Ramona. Surprised, the sister told him that she was actually Ramona's sister. Eddie then went to see Ramona and noticed bruises on her face. Sonny had hurt her. Ramona was deeply upset and now hated Sonny. She started to confess her feelings and tried to propose to Eddie. At that moment, Eddie told her about Annie, saying she was his girlfriend. But Ramona didn't believe him since Eddie didn't even have Annie's phone number. She started making fun of him again. Angry, Eddie snapped and said, "You're a terrible kind of girl. I don't need you." With that, he walked away. In the next scene, Eddie looks completely broken and lost. His face shows disappointment, confusion, and heartbreak all at once. Seeing her son like this, his mom gently encourages him to talk to Annie and clear things up. But there's one problem. Eddie doesn't have Annie's number. Still determined, he searches for her on social media, going through multiple platforms, typing her name again and again, but she's nowhere to be found. Frustrated but not ready to give up, Eddie finally contacts the hotel and somehow manages to get Annie's number. He immediately calls her and says, "I'm coming to your city to see you. Will you meet me?" After a short pause, Annie agrees. That same night, they meet at a lively club filled with loud music and flashing lights. As the music plays, the two begin dancing together. Slowly, their awkwardness fades, and they start getting closer, emotionally and physically. For a moment, it feels like nothing else matters. Annie can clearly see that Eddie is genuinely happy when he's with her. Caught up in the moment, they sneak into the club's bathroom and get a little too carried away. Suddenly, two girls knock on the door and tell him to come out. When they ignore it, the girls complain to security. Within moments, a bouncer storms in, drags them out, grabs Eddie, and roughs him up. Afterward, Annie takes Eddie back to her room, cleans his wounds, and takes care of him. As things calm down, Eddie softly asks, "When will you tell your boyfriend about us?" Annie hesitates, then admits the truth. Her boyfriend is very rich, and she doesn't want to lose that life. She says she wants security, comfort, and a better future, even if it means hiding the truth. Those words hit Eddie hard. His expression changes instantly. Without saying much more, he quietly leaves the room, heartbroken once again. The next day at college, Eddie tries to act normal, sitting with his friend and talking casually about Ramona. But something feels off. Slowly, he notices everyone staring at him, whispering, laughing. Then it becomes clear, after Eddie rejected her, Ramona spread a rumor that he's gay. Eddie feels humiliated. He tries to explain the truth, but no one listens. The more he talks, the more people mock him. It crushes him from the inside. His close friend tries to support him, saying, "Don't worry, I know who you are," but the damage is already done. Later, when Eddie gets home, his friend Carla is there. She's someone Eddie trusts deeply, someone he can share anything with. When he tells her everything, she listens patiently and comforts him. As they talk, the emotional connection between them grows stronger, and in a vulnerable moment, they end up getting closer than ever before. The next morning brings another blow. Eddie's friend tells him he can't hang out with him anymore because people are starting to think he's gay too. That hurts Eddie even more. Feeling isolated and angry, he decides it's time to take control and get back at Ramona. He completely changes his appearance. New clothes, new hairstyle, a confident attitude. When he walks into school, everyone is stunned. Girls who never noticed him before suddenly can't take their eyes off him. Eddie walks straight up to Ramona and says, "You're still the most beautiful girl in the world to me." Ramona, impressed by his transformation, smiles and compliments him back. He asks her to meet him later, and she agrees. Their chemistry returns instantly, and they even share it. Later, Eddie clears things up with Carla, telling her they should just remain friends. Carla understands and agrees, but Eddie isn't done yet. He still wants revenge on Sonny, so he comes up with a plan. He and his friends send Carla a gift and a love letter in Sonny's name that reads, "Carla, will you be my girlfriend?" It's Valentine's Day, and Carla gets excited. She goes straight to Sonny and happily announces that they're now in a relationship. Sonny, confused and irritated, insults her. That's the last straw. Furious, Carla beats him up and knocks him down. Soon, everyone in school is laughing at Sonny. That night, Eddie takes Ramona out on a date. She arrives looking stunning. He takes her to a quiet lighthouse, away from the noise of the world. There, he opens his heart. He tells tells her that whenever he feels lost, he comes here to find peace, but tonight is special because she's with him. He calls her the most beautiful part of his world and confesses how deeply he loves her. Ramona is touched. She tells him no one has ever cared for her the way he does. They share a soft, emotional kiss. Later, Eddie invites her to his place. At first, Ramona hesitates, thinking he might just want something physical like everyone else. But Eddie reassures her, saying, "You know, I'm not like that." They go together, spending quiet, meaningful time with each other. As emotions deepen, Ramona feels closer to him than ever before. Their relationship starts to stabilize, and from that point on, things between them begin to improve as they genuinely start enjoying each other's company. Then one day, while Eddie is spending time with Ramona, he suddenly receives a message from Annie. In the message, she asks him to meet her within an hour and bring her favorite flowers because she's coming to his city. Seeing this, Eddie panics. He makes an excuse to Ramona, saying he has something important to do, and leaves to meet Annie. As soon as Eddie and Annie meet, they hug each other. Eddie then brings Annie home. At home, Annie and Eddie's mom quickly develop a warm and friendly bond, getting along really well. But in the middle of this, Eddie gets a call from Ramona. She's angry because he didn't show up to meet her. She tells him that tonight he has to bring her flowers. Eddie tries to avoid it and says he has to go out with a relative, so he won't be able to come. But Ramona insists that he must come no matter what. Just then, Annie starts walking toward Eddie, so he nervously hangs up the call. Now Eddie is completely confused. He doesn't understand whether he should stay with Ramona or be with Annie. He even talks to his mom about it, but she doesn't give him any clear advice. Finally, Eddie makes a decision. He chooses Annie. He decides to break up with Ramona and stay with Annie. But around midnight, Ramona calls Eddie outside. When he meets her, she tries to pull him back, but Eddie stops her and says, "It's true that I've liked you for a long time, but I can't be in a relationship with you anymore. I don't feel the happiness with you that I'm actually looking for." Ramona tries to convince him, but Eddie doesn't change his mind. He leaves her outside and goes back inside his house. The story then jumps forward a few years. Eddie is now a successful and wealthy writer who has written a book and become famous. His relationship with Annie is going really well, and he seems happy with his life. After a long time, one day at a club, Eddie unexpectedly runs into Ramona. They greet each other and start catching up. Ramona tells him that she's engaged now and that her fiancé is very rich. After talking for a while, they both leave together in Ramona's car. At first, Ramona praises her fiancé, but then she admits the truth. Her relationship with him isn't good. She says she has never found anyone who loved her the way Eddie did and that she always wanted to be with him. While she's saying all this, Eddie is busy texting Annie, but slowly, as he listens to Ramona, he starts feeling sympathy for her. In that emotional moment, the two begin getting close again. Later, when Eddie returns home, Annie isn't there. Just then, he receives a message from Ramona. She writes, "What did you think? That I'd let you stay happy? That's never going to happen while I'm around." Eddie realizes that Ramona has told Annie everything. At that moment, Eddie reflects on his own actions. He thinks that if he hadn't gone to meet Ramona, he would still be happy with Annie. Suddenly, the story shifts back to the past, the same party where everything first began. Eddie is nervous and unable to talk to Ramona, while Sonny is encouraging him. But this time, things are different. Instead of following Sonny's advice, Eddie punches him hard. This shows that Eddie has finally learned from his mistakes and is choosing a different path, one where he stays true to Annie. And with that twist, the story comes to an end.